Good morning. Happy Monday. Um, this is Monday Morning Chats with Sex. So welcome. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. It was just a great week last week, and I know that this week will be even better. Please excuse my attire. I came from the gym, so I like to be consistent with that. So the good thing is this workout gear, I got this as a gift 2 years ago, and I cannot fit it at all. I could fit the shirt, but the pants, they were really tight on me. But now I can fit it, so that feels good. Now that just lets me know that I'm on the right track with my fitness journey. So last week, I started working in my new office, which was great. I got a chance to decorate. I'm not done. I need to do painting, so I talked to the dean about getting my office painted. So my office is going to get painted, so I'm definitely excited about that. And we'll see how it looks once I get it painted and once I start to add more things to my office. So that's pretty cool. Really excited about that. Then I got a chance to just hang out with girlfriends and just get a chance to eat some great food, like some really good food. And I was still mindful of like my diet. So even though I like to try different restaurants, one, I'm cautious because having a budget is important. And then two, making sure that I eat things that fits within my diet, right? So that is by far important, super important. So what do I want to talk about today? What I want to talk about is how do you support someone that is experiencing some type of mental health issues, right? And so I looked up, well, what is mental health? Because everyone just used this word, and sometimes they may not know what it means, what it comprises of. So I want to tell you what I've researched, right? I did a brief little research, and so mental health includes like your emotional, your psychological, and social well-being. With that said, that affects how you act. It affects the decisions that you make. It affects your stress. It affects your overall self. So mental health, someone's experiencing some type of mental health, it's not just like schizophrenia or like other diagnostic mental health issues that people are experiencing. It could be simple as stress. It could be anxiety. It could be depression. And sometimes with those things, it gets too extreme to the extent where some people need to be medicated, right? So how do you support someone? The reason why I decided to talk about this is because once a month, I have a monthly ladies' night that's virtual. And we have wine. And we just talk about, mostly it's talking about relationships. It's talking about like what it means to be ourselves. How is it to be a professional but also have a professional personal life, and make sure you have a balanced life. So we talk about those things, and we talked about how if you are, whether you have friends, whether you are in a romantic relationship, how do you support someone that's going through those things? Maybe it's stress, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's depression. And the one thing that we talked about is that throughout life, we're all going to experience some form of mental health. Like, we're all going to experience that. And sometimes you wish that in life that you can just push fast forward to where life gets better. But honestly, we go through all these things. And so how do you support somebody? You just don't cut somebody off because they're stressed or they're experiencing, anxiety, or they're experiencing like depression. Like, you don't cut somebody off. It's a matter of like, how do you support them? And I think for me, whenever I know someone is going through something, or maybe someone is trying to deal with grief, right? Because grief is not linear. And, 1 minute you're okay. The next minute you're just, like, I don't know. You don't know if you're coming or going, right? The one thing that I always do, most times, I will say, hey, I'm sorry about X, Y, and Z. What does support looks like for you at this time? Because support will look different for everyone. Some people want you to just leave them alone. I'm like, okay, hands off. I will not bother you. Some people need that phone call, right? Some people need that text message. And so what are you willing to do to support maybe your friends, your loved ones that experiencing some type of mental health issues. Like, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to say, you know what, even though this person didn't call me as much, I'm still going to check up on them? There was something that's been posted on social media about, this whole idea about, like friends, and how, sometimes you may have friends where they may not be the best selves because they're going through so much. So how do you expect them to show up for you if they can't show up for themselves? And I'm a big believer that if someone cannot show up for themselves, please don't show up for me. So if you're having a bad day and I'm having something, please don't come. I want you to really focus on you first. That's important. You're important, right? And so here's some things I think that will help if you know someone that's experiencing some type of depression, anxiety, stress, or maybe they're experiencing some other mental health issues that you are aware about. I would say, one, tell them that you are here. Most times people keep things in because they don't know if they could talk to someone. Now, please keep in mind, this is a disclaimer that I am not a mental health expert. Not at all. I just read articles and I just tell you from my own point of view and the things I have done. Maybe a therapist would say something differently. I don't know. But this is something that I will say. Okay, this is something I would do. One, words of encouragement goes a long way. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care if you're not as successful. It's nothing like someone telling you, like, hey, I'm proud of you. Like, hey, I think that you're doing a great job and keep it up. You'd be surprised. Like, that goes a long way. Another thing is people love food, right? So if you know someone is having, like, a tough time in life, you can offer them a meal if you know how to cook. So if you don't know how to cook, this is not the right time to try to make someone a meal and be generous. That's nice, but if you don't know how to cook and you're trying to help someone in need, don't try to do that now. That may mess up your relationship. But you can offer someone something to eat. Like, hey, if you're a person that cooks, like, hey, I know you're probably going through things, and maybe you may not have enough time to make dinner, but hey, I made dinner. Hey, can I drop this off for you? You may not want company, but hey, I just want to drop this off for you. Does that work for you? And if so, what time works for you? You also have to be mindful that if you reach out to someone that's dealing with something and they may not be as prompt with responding, or they may not respond at all. But I will tell you that they will see your text message, they will see your phone call, and they will really appreciate it. And so I think those things are just helpful, and just let them know that, like, you're here. I think that that's important. We all go through things in life. I wish I can tell you that everything in my life is just like peachy and creamy, and it's not, but I've learned how to deal with it, right? I've learned how to deal with it. And in my new clinic that I'm going to direct, I'm going to really make an emphasis on mental health, right? Because that's something that I think in law school that they don't talk too much about. It's this idea of you have to do well. And even in college, you have to do well. If you're in college, do well so that way, you keep your scholarship if you have a scholarship. Or if you don't have a scholarship, if you do well, you can get a scholarship. And if you do well, if you're trying to go to grad school, your grades are important. You want to have good grades so you can get a good job. But no one tells you that, hey, how's your mental health, right? How do you feel today? Are your emotions, are you balanced, right? No one really talks about that. But I want to talk about that in my clinic. And I'm going to talk about the importance of emotional intelligence, right? How are you able to control your emotions? So let's say that you're depressed. Let's say that you're stressed out. But you still have to wake up in the morning and go to work. How are you able to juggle your emotions and still perform at your job? One of the things that's important that people overlook is your paid time off, right? So if you realize that, hey, today is just really not a good day for me, take off, right? That's what you have those days for. Take off. You don't have to explain to someone why you have to take off. If the time is there, use it. You don't get this extra award for not taking PTO, for not taking vacation. Take your PTO. If it's a day, if it's a personal day, take your personal day. If you have vacation days, take your vacation days. And you may not necessarily have a planned vacation, but you can take a week off and just do nothing, right? Just do nothing at all. When I went to the Eastern Shore about 2 months ago to do community service, even though I did community service, I didn't necessarily do as much work, and it felt so peaceful. Like, I went out to dinner, had some great food, but it felt good to just do nothing, right? Do nothing. And so how are you able to manage that? That's what I'm going to talk to my students about. How are you able to manage your emotions and still go to work and perform? How do you handle your emotions when you have a client that's nasty to you and don't know how to speak to you? Maybe they're saying things. Maybe they're using explicit language because they're upset about things. How are you able to say, you know what? I'm not going to take this personal. It's not about me. This person is just going through something right now, but I'm not going to react. How are you able to do that? So that's what I'm going to really talk about in one of my classes, about how are you able to control it. And my colleague last week, she came to my office, and I was telling her about that. She was like, I really like that idea. And I was like, yeah, that's a class that I want to teach. I think that's something that I want to teach in the beginning of the semester, not the end. And she told me, and I told her, I said, I experienced that. People think that nothing's wrong in my life. Like, nothing's like bad going on, but I have my days. I'm human. And she said, I could never tell if you're upset or sad. And I said, I just know how to, it's not that I'm hiding, I just know how to control it, right? Just know how to control it. So if I'm having a bad day, I speak positivity over my life. I read affirmations to get me through the day. Especially if I'm having like a not so good day, this is what I would do. Like if today or whatever day is heavy, I may reach out to one of my friends that is like my go-to person. And then I will read an affirmation. And then I will read my Bible, right? I will read my Bible, and I will read a particular story in the Bible that relates to what I'm going through. And that helps me. And then what I would do if I realize like, hey, like this is not enough, I need to talk to somebody else, I have my therapist. And I'll email my therapist saying, hey, I need to get back on your schedule. Today's not a good day. When is the next available appointment you have? So I use my therapist. And even though I started therapy in January 2021, and I was there for a particular reason for like 4 months. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I want to make this a continuous habit where I go like every 3 months. And if I need to go before 3 months, hey, I would do that. And so that is important. Like, how are you able to balance like your emotions, and how are you able to control how you feel when all this stuff is going around? Like, how are you able to control that? And it's hard. It's not easy, right? It's not easy, but it can be done. But in life, every day is not going to be like picture perfect, right? Life is not meant to be picture perfect. You will have dark moments. You will have bright days. You will have gloomy days. But it's a matter of how are you able to get through those days. And you got to figure out what works best for you. And so to my friends, to my family members that are watching this, that if you are struggling with something, I pray that you get the help that you need. And everybody's help will look different. Some people are not ready to go to a therapist, right? One thing that I will say, if you're not ready to go to a therapist, you can write out your thoughts, right? I experienced using a journal when I was a kid. That was my way to write out how I felt. When I was younger, I used to get teased, and I didn't know who to talk to about it. How I reacted was I used to fight a lot. And people see me now, and I'm like, Sakina, you would never fight. You don't know me. And that was my way to respond. I felt like I was being attacked. I was raised to be kind to people, to be nice. And I felt like, dang, I'm being kind to people. I'm not doing anything to them, so why are they doing these things to me? And I don't like to fight. That's the thing. But I had to, for these people to leave me alone and not bother me anymore. And so that was my way to like really express myself, by journal writing. I started journal writing since I was in like the 3rd grade. And I used to write poems. And that was my way to really express how I feel. I know that when I would tell my mom things, my mom was just ready to like react. And she has like go to the school, try to beat up the kid, even though I already beat up the child, right? Try to like say, no, this is round two, but with mama involved, right? So you may not be ready for therapist. You can actually journal write. Journal writing is very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. If you are ready to go to a therapist, I will say do your research. Figure out what do they specialize in. Figure out who you want to connect with. Do you want a male therapist? Do you want a female therapist, right? Are there certain things that you require? I knew for me, I wanted a female. She had to be a female therapist. She had to be black, and she had to be a Christian. Those are the things I was not budging on, right? That was the things that I was not budging on. Like, if you tell me, like, you know, I'm not a Christian, I'm a little spiritual, no, that wasn't for me. Because in therapy, there's times where we're talking about different issues, and we will go to scripture. And she's like, well, Sakina, you know the Bible. Well, what does the scripture say? And I needed that. Like, I needed that. So you had to figure out when it comes to a therapist, what are you looking for? Again, mine had to be black. She had to be a female. She had to be a Christian. And when you look at different therapists in their bios, they will say those things. They will say they're Christian based. They may say that they practice another religion. You have to just figure out what works best for you, right? What works best for you. Lastly, accountability, right? What does accountability mean? So as a professor, I have to write, right? I had to write articles because my goal is to become tenured. And last week, I got all the encouragement that I needed, but also a kick in my ass. One of my colleagues came to my office and she was like, tell me about your article. Where are you at? And I was like, I was slacking. I said, I started my draft, but I'm not finished. She looked at me. She leaned back in her chair. She closed my office door. She said, sis, let me talk to you for a second. She said, that article needs to get done. She said, what is it? She said, what's stopping you from getting it done? She was like, do you not like your topic that you're writing about? What is it? Let me help you. And she said, look, you need this article. This article got to get out this year. You need to get it done. She said, put it on your calendar. She said, if you don't make time for it, it's not going to get done. It is not going to get done. And she said, join a writing community. That would encourage you. And she said, but you got to get it done. She said, you leaving money on the table. She said, it's not just for the school, but it's for your personal career. She said, you got to get this article done. She said, if you don't get these articles done, you can't get promoted. And I was like, wait a minute. I knew that already. I was like, wait a minute. I don't want anything to come between me and my bag. Like, if I'm in the way of my bag, I need to get out of my own way. So she was like, listen, sis. She's like, you're in the way of making more money because you don't have this article written. And I was like, okay. That was everything that I needed. After that conversation, she left. I sat back in my chair and I said, you know what? I gotta get this done. I love my article. I love my topic. I gotta get this done. I know I have to do more research, but I'm gonna keep writing. I reached out to my colleague and I said, listen, I need you to be my writing and accountability partner. She said, really? I said, yeah, we got to stay on it. And so that was Wednesday. We had that conversation. Thursday, I joined a writing group. It was me and my colleague. And we made a commitment to write Monday through Friday for the whole month of July. But I will find myself probably writing on Saturdays, like just to try to get some things knocked out and read, like try to read some things. But that's holding me accountable, right? I have a personal trainer I meet with twice a week, and then I work out. And don't get me wrong, like, it's easy to go to the trainer because whatever we have to do, I get it done somehow, some way. And I'm with a group. So we encourage each other to keep moving and keep going, even when it feels difficult, right? But when I'm working out by myself, that's the challenge. Getting up, making sure I do my workouts that's scheduled for today. And I'm like, damn, I wish I could sleep in. I was a little late to the gym today, but I still went there and made it happen. And so I say all this to say, you know, what is it that you want in your life? And who's holding you accountable to get it done? Right? Maybe you want a new job. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to do something. Who's holding you accountable? Accountability is important. You got to hold yourself accountable. That's all I have for today, because I have to get ready to write. I can't be late. So I got to get ready to write and respond to all these emails. And that's the good thing about like my job. Like I don't have a set time, because my hours, I can work like 10 hours, but I can start at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And sometimes I may not get done until 8 o'clock. But it's cool. So I like that my schedule is flexible as a teacher. So it's cool. But I do a lot. But it's all about balance. So I work hard, but I play even harder. And so it is Monday, so I just want to shout out to all the dope men out there. Just keep doing your thing. Just never forget how amazing you really are. Like, you are so amazing. And it's so sad because I keep hearing guys tell me how they feel like they meet people and they don't feel appreciated, right? Like, they meet some women, they don't feel appreciated. And I just want you to know that you are amazing. Like, to the men that's listening to this, like, you are amazing. And if you have friends or you're in a romantic relationship and someone doesn't appreciate you, just let them go. And like I tell my friends all the time, I just want to be around good people, like really good people. If I'm in a relationship with somebody, if I have friends, I just want to make sure I'm surrounded by good people. And if you're not a good person, I don't want it. Like, the energy is so important. Like, I want to be around people that have good energy. Like, if you're nagging all the time, like everything goes bad, I don't want to be around that. I don't. But that's all I have. I hope that you have a great Monday. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Last week was great. It was so great. And I just hope and pray that, and I know that this week will be even better. And I wish the same for you guys. Take care. Happy Monday. And just never forget how dope you really are, because you are so freaking dope. You are so dope. Take care, guys.